Gentlemen, what is going on today? My name is Ryan Mickler. I'm the host and the founder of the Order of Man podcast and movement. Welcome here and welcome back. If you're brand new to the podcast, this is a show and a movement dedicated to helping you become the best man that you can possibly be. It's clear that in society, generally speaking, masculinity, manliness is mocked, ridiculed, diminished, undermined at every turn. And it's my job, and I feel like it's my mission at this point to help reclaim and restore masculinity to a place where there's honor in it, where there's integrity in it, where there's respect, where there's value and service, and people generally appreciate manliness and masculinity for what men contribute to and add to their families, their businesses, their communities, neighborhoods, countries, et cetera, et cetera. You look around and you see some of the biggest problems in society. Yes, a lot of those are perpetuated by men, but it's righteous men, it's capable men, it's virtuous men that put an end to these types of things, keep people in check, keep people marching forward. And that's what we're doing here. So I think it's an important discussion. I labeled this one, be clear, be precise, be bold. Guys, I'm really tired of seeing men stumble and fumble their way through life because they're unclear, number one, about what they want. And number two, their inability to communicate it effectively. I'm going to share with you how to communicate it effectively and why it's so important that you do. But before I do, I just want to mention my good friends and show sponsors over at Montana Knife Company. Guys, it's hunting season. It's finally upon us. I've got a really big hunt, one of my favorite hunts of the year, coming up in 2 or 3 weeks now. And I use Montana Knife Company knives exclusively for all of my butchering and breaking down of meat and all the things that I do regarding hunting. So if you're looking for a good hunting knife, then look no further than Montana Knife Company. They've partnered with some incredible people in the hunting community, John Dudley, Cole Kramer, Aaron Snyder with Kafaru. These guys partner with them to create custom knives, special knives, unique knives, and then they have their others as staples as well. So go to montanaknifecompany.com, montanaknifecompany.com, and use the code Order of Man at checkout, and you'll save some money when you do. All right, guys, let's talk about being clear and being precise and being bold. I made this post in our Brotherhood the Iron Council the other day, and I said earlier, I'm tired of seeing men stumble and fumble their way through life because they don't know what they want. And even if they do know what they want, they have a hard time articulating it. Guys, if you want to achieve any metric of success in life, it's likely that you're going to need to include other people in that journey, whether that's your marriage or trying to influence your children or trying to get your employees to engage, trying to get a client to buy something from you, trying to start a new business and get investors into the business. We're always going to be dealing with and working with other people. And one of the greatest hindrances to our ability to influence these individuals is our inability or ability to communicate effectively, to tell them exactly what we want, to give clear guidance, clear instructions, to be decisive, and to let people know what we're after. So if you're trying to get a client, for example, to purchase a product from you, what I hear most guys doing is something along the lines of this. Well, we've talked about what your problems are, and I think maybe this could be a good solution, but only if you're comfortable with it, and if it's not too much, it might be too much money for you. I'm not sure. I think it'll help you solve your problems, but I just want to make sure you're okay with it. So what do you think? Guys, that's not a way to ask for a sale. Or I've heard other guys try to ask women on dates. I've seen this in our Facebook group. They're talking about approaching women. And it's like, maybe at some point, at some time in the not too distant future, maybe you and I could like do something together, hanging out, only if you want to though. So would you? Of course, she's going to say no. Of course, your client's going to say no. Of course, if you're giving poor direction and clarity to employees, of course, they're going to fail on the project that you want. Guys, if you want to achieve success in life, it's time for us to get, number one, hyper specific with our goals, right? You hear from so many men who are like, I want to make more money. I do too. I think that's a universally true goal that most men would have. And if that's the case, tell me exactly how much money you want to make. We have one of our battle team leaders in the Iron Council. He came up with a number. It was $512,000 and $512,182 or something like that. And that was extremely precise. I asked him, That's a precise number. Most people would say 500,000. Well, he's very clear about 11% growth in his bottom line revenue every single year. So that individual is significantly more likely to hit that number than the guy who's like, yeah, I just want to make more money. Because what do you do with that? If you make $1 more this year than you did last year, technically you achieved your goal, you achieved your outcome, but you fell so far short of what you could have done if you would have been more precise and clear about what you wanted. The other thing that you can do when you get precise is now you can begin to articulate a goal that will actually help you accomplish it. If you say, I want to be in better shape, well, welcome to the club. We all want to be in better shape. But if you say, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months, all right, now I have something I can actually work with. Because what we can do is we can come up with a plan for losing that weight, for gaining muscle, for losing fat. We can actually measure it, right? If you're 200 pounds right now, next week, I want to see you at 197. And if I can see you at 197, then I know we're on the right path. And then we can project that out over 2 months and see if we can get you down 20 pounds. But if you say, I just want to lose weight, well, losing 3 pounds, good. There you go. You met your goal. It's not precise enough. And it leaves too much room for error. And I think that's the reason a lot of men aren't precise. They're hedging their bets, right? When you say, I just want to make more money, generally something that's accompanied with that is, well, money's not the most important thing. Okay, that's hedging your bet. If you say, hey, I really am attracted to this woman. I'd like to ask her out, but she probably won't like me. That's hedging your bet. If you tell a client, man, I really think I could help this problem this client has, but I'm not sure. And, maybe they're not interested, or maybe they don't have the budget for it. That's hedging your bet. You're operating from a fear mindset, which is why you're not being precise and why you're not giving clear instruction and direction to individuals. So we're looking at this from 2 different points. Number one, we're looking at it from goal setting. We've all heard SMART acronym. I'm not going to go through it. You guys know what it is. But if you can be as specific as possible, and we're going to look for the lowest common denominator. So for example, I want to lose weight. Let's strip that away. What do you mean? I want to lose 20 pounds. Great. 20 pounds altogether, 20 pounds of body fat. Like what exactly? Well, 20 pounds of body fat, but I'm going to try to build muscle too. Okay, that's a difference we need to be aware of. Okay, good. What's the timeline? Well, I want to do that in the next 2 months. Okay, now we're specific. I want to lose 20 pounds of body fat in the next 2 months. So as of the recording of this, it's October 12th. That means December 12th, roughly, I'm going to be 180 pounds as opposed to 200 pounds. Or actually, it might not even be that because of muscle growth and things like that. But you get the point. The point is to be as specific as possible. If it's money related, get specific. Don't hedge. Do not hedge. Don't say, hey, I want to make $20,000 more this year than I did last year. But if I don't, it's okay. Or like, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Don't say that, because you're going to start bringing that to fruition. We're going all in, burning the boat, so to speak. So I want to earn $20,000 more bottom line revenue than I did last year. Great. Now tell me how you're going to do it. Well, I'm going to sell more. Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to sell a few more things to make $20,000 or increase your prices or potentially reduce your expenses. And either of those are justifiable. They're good ways to go about doing that. But what exactly are you going to do? Well, I'm going to work harder. That doesn't cut it. Number one, working harder doesn't guarantee that you're going to make $20,000 more. And we don't even know what working harder means. What does that mean? You're going to put in extra hours? Does that mean doing more emails or doing more red tape that you have to do behind the scenes? Because that's not going to produce sales. Emails might. But the red tape and all that kind of stuff, the paperwork, that's not going to produce sales for you. So what exactly are you going to do? You see this even in the bedroom. Guys are like, oh, my sex life isn't great. I'd really like my wife to experiment with me. Hey, no harm in that. I think that's kind of fun, kind of enjoyable between two consenting adults that want to feel good, want to make each other feel good, want to please each other in physical ways. I'm all about it. But what exactly do you mean? And these guys come into the Facebook group and they're like, yeah, I want to have a better sex life. And here's what I'd like. And I ask them, have you talked with your wife about that? Well, no, because okay, well, then you're not going to get it, because she's not going to read your mind, just like you're not going to read hers. But if you tell her, hey, I'd like you to say this, I'd like you to do this, I really enjoy it when we're doing this, then She's going to see that. And 9 times out of 10, she wants to please you guys, just like you want to please her. She wants to make you happy in the bedroom, in your relationship, fulfillment in life. All she needs is a little direction. And all you need is a little direction. And the more that you give it to individuals in respectful ways, but clear, precise ways, the better they're equipped to do what you want. And isn't that what you want? To be influential in that way. So there's goal setting. But then the other avenue is the things that we want. So we're going to be precise with our goals, but also it's the things that we want other people to do. So the bedroom talk is something that would fall into that category. Getting your employees to do something, asking a woman on a date. You remember how I said most guys will say, maybe at some point you'd like to do something. No, that's not how you ask. The way you ask is, hey, Susan, there's this great new restaurant that's, downtown, and I've heard good things about it and I've been wanting to try it. I got reservations for 2 and I would love to take you out on Friday night. Can I pick you up at 7:00? Who's more likely to get the date? The guy who's like, maybe if you don't have anything else going on, or the guy who's like, no, I got us reservations and I would love to take you. That guy, that second guy, the latter, he's more likely to get the date. Guys, we need to be precise. We need to be bold. We need to be assertive. We need to be clear with our communication. And we need to be able to open our mouths and articulate what it is that we want. Now, this is going to be challenging for some guys more than others. Some guys are what we call recovering nice guys. And this is part of the reason we aren't clear and precise with what we want of others, is because we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of how they'll interpret it. We're afraid of making people feel bad. We're afraid of putting people out. And because all these fears exist, you waffle and you soften your language, which doesn't really serve anybody. So for somebody like that, and there's probably a lot of you who are listening, I've been that way in the past, is you can begin to exercise and train assertiveness. This is all this is, assertive communication in very non-threatening ways. For example, if you get together with a bunch of colleagues and coworkers and it's, Friday morning and all the guys are like, hey, let's go out to lunch, and grab a bite or grab a drink or whatever it is you do. Where would you guys like to go? You should be the one to speak up. Hey guys, let's head over to Applebee's or Olive Garden or the local restaurant, the local pub. I don't know, whatever it is. You should be the one to speak up. Hey guys, I'd like to go here. And guess what? The likelihood of you going there is pretty high. If you don't care, that's fine. But I would still challenge you to assert yourself, because you're going to practice this and you're going to get better in telling people what you want. When people ask you questions, work on being truthful with them. So here's a hard one. Your wife might come to you and say, hey, what do you think of this dress? Now, if you like the dress and it looks great, then you should say it. And guys are going to argue with me on this one, so I'm ready for it. But if you don't like the dress, then I think it's your duty to be honest about it. Because if you lie about it, she's going to know that you're lying, number one. And then she's not going to believe you when you're actually telling the truth, because you're always saying everything looks great. So a soft way to say that might be, hey, you know what? I really like that dress. It looks good on you, but I prefer the way the red dress fits you better. Or you might say, hey, that one isn't as flattering as some of the other jeans that I've seen you wear. Or she might be wearing heels. Hey, you look great in heels. It shows off your legs. But man, I really like those flats that you wear. Some guys are like, don't do that. No, do that. Like, be honest with her. It might cause a little friction, a little rift, but you do that in a soft, caring, empathetic way. Now she's getting honest feedback from you. And guess what she'll start doing? Wearing the things that you like. Because again, she wants to please you. She wants to make you happy. She wants to be attractive to you. If she's wearing something really sexy and you really enjoy what she's wearing, open your mouth. Hon, I got to tell you, you're a knockout in that skirt. Guess what she's going to do? She's going to wear that skirt more often, or she's going to go out and get the other 3 colors of that same exact skirt because she knows how good she looks to you. We have to be honest in these things. So again, we're going to try these in non-threatening ways, and we're going to be honest in the way that we communicate with people, even though it will be very, very difficult. Here's another thing you can do. If you're dissatisfied with something, voice your dissatisfaction. You don't have to be an asshole about it. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to put people down or make people feel dumb or humiliate people. But let's say you're out at a restaurant and the steak comes and you ordered it medium or medium rare or even rare, which is even more acceptable for the men listening to this podcast. And they come back with the steak and it's cooked and it's well done. You need to politely say, because we're talking about assertive communication, politely say, hey, I appreciate you bringing this out, but this is a little bit more done than I asked for. I would like a medium rare steak, please. That's going to be really, really difficult for some of you, but I challenge you to do it. If there's a woman that you want to ask out, or maybe it even is your wife that you want to ask out, we're not going to go to our spouse or a woman we're interested in and say, hey, you know, I'd like to take you out sometime this weekend. What do you think? What do you want to do? We're not going to do that anymore. The way that we're going to do it is say, hey, I'd like to take you out this weekend. I've got reservations on Friday night to Tony's and Saturday night to Flanagan's or whatever. And which one works best for you? Oh, and by the way, I went ahead and I called the sitter and she's going to be here at 6:30. We've got reservations at 7:30. And then also after that, we're going to go, I don't know, go to the driving range, or we're going to go to, there's a painting class, a community painting class that they're putting on at the restaurant. We're going to go over there and we're going to do that afterwards. Guys, like, you're going to get laid if that's what you're after. You're going to get the date because you're being more clear and precise. And by the way, because other men aren't doing this romantically, platonically, business, professionally, personally, you're going to stand so far ahead of the pack that the opportunities for women, the opportunities for clients, the opportunities for employees, the opportunities for growth and business partners is going to be abundant because you're more clear, assertive, and direct in your communication. There's 1,000 different ways that you can do this, but what I really want to be on your mind this weekend as we roll into the weekend and moving into next week and also the rest of your life is, in what ways are you waffling in your language? In what ways are you softening? In what ways are you hedging against what you're saying? In what ways are you not being clear? If people don't understand you, then it's likely that you're not being clear in your communication. If people are being wishy-washy with you about dates or about other things, it's likely because they're mirroring your energy, which is wishy-washy and waffling and not really secure and stable. And the only way to get that way is to practice it by doing things that are uncomfortable. Another small little thing that you can do, and I've done this in the past, and it can be difficult, is to ask for a discount everywhere you go. It's not about the discount. It's about being assertive. It's about being bold. It's about saying what needs to be said. Another thing that you can do is, if you're out in public and you bump into somebody, try to start a conversation with them, because that's going to help you get the creative juices flowing, and it's going to help you to learn how to communicate effectively. So if you jump on the elevator and there's a guy in there, you might say, maybe he's got a football shirt on or something. Maybe he's got a Packer shirt on or a Patriot shirt on. You're like, hey, did you go, what about that Patriots game last weekend? And that was a crazy game, wasn't it? Or if you see somebody's got, man, he looks really sharp, or she looks sharp, or you got to be careful a little bit more with females because they might interpret it as flirting, but you get the point. Try to strike up conversations so that you get the creative juices flowing and you begin to communicate with other people. And then I would say, as the last thing, is if you are communicating with other people, especially employee, professional relationships, ask them what they heard from you. Ask for their feedback. Hey, I shared this task and this project and assignment that I wanted you to complete. Are there any confusions or misunderstandings about it, or additional questions that you have? They might say no. Say, good, because I'm really trying to improve the way that I communicate with you. And I would like some feedback if you don't mind. How am I in communicating with you? How clear am I? How easy is it to understand what it is I'm actually after? And then be receptive to that. Don't defend it. Don't justify whatever they say. Just listen. Say, oh, good. Thank you. That's helpful feedback from me. I'll work on that. And then you can ask them again and you can get better at improving these things. But guys, it's crucial. It's crucial. And I want all of us to win. I wrote a book last year, The Masculinity Manifesto, How a Man Establishes Influence, Credibility, and Authority. And a big part of that is the way that we communicate with others, the clarity of our own desires and goals and dreams and ambitions, and the way that we articulate those goals, desires, dreams, and ambitions to other people to enlist them in what it is that we're after. I hope that helps. I hope that serves you. If you have additional thoughts and ideas, please feel free to share those with me. Share them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Email me, ryan@orderman.com. I'm going to be sure to get back with you. I value your feedback. I value you guys being here. And I think all of us, myself included, can do a better job of clearly articulating what it is we're after. Guys, we'll be back next week. Until then, go out there, take action, be bold, be clear, be decisive, and become the man you are meant to be.